Right, a brief video really on Bitcoin dominance then, and at the moment Bitcoin dominance is it's pumping and dumping. To be honest with you, it seems like as though there's been a bit of a change in the way that things are moving, but it was similar to the way that things move at the beginning of any kind of change in direction. So at the moment, it looks like Bitcoin does want to change its direction to go to bullish, but it's not entirely sure. So when that's happening, there's no such thing as a confirmation as yet, but it looks as though the bottom could be in at that 6,600 area, thereabouts. We could come down to revisit it, perhaps, maybe, in a month or two, but I wouldn't expect this to be broken again now. And I've been pretty bearish this entire time. So for me to change my mind on this, it's taken there's a few reasons for that. First of all, we broke out this descending trend, and we broke out of it nicely, and then we had continuation of that. We had crosses on the 4-hourly. And that has caused a nice spread of moving averages. So we had our golden cross here, we've had continuation of that. At the moment we're pretty much dancing around a small range of 7,550 to about, I'd call it, the top of these candlesticks here, about 8,200, thereabouts. We're likely to continue this to the bullish, I would say, at this point. But there's a few little random things that are going on, and I don't really put it down to much, but something that I've noticed is that we do have longs on a completely on Bitfinex, just topping out basically, since what, Christmas. Longs were at an all-time massive high. I mean, if you look at those dates, so what was that, December it was around about Christmas Eve, wasn't it? So here we go. So people were taking profits around about this level here, which is fine because it's Christmas and the people don't want to be doing it, and it was a fair place to take your profit from. But they've been going down since then, despite the price going up. It's a little strange. I wouldn't read too much into it, but it's something to take note of. It is an enormous amount. What is this? About 30%. Retracement of 33% over the last week or so, a couple of weeks. People have been taking their profit really, but if we have a look at shorts are only up a tiny fraction. So it's more that I'm seeing people taking their profit than I am seeing changing their direction. These people have taken their profit and they're likely to be putting that profit back in once an acceptable range or entry point has come. That what I would expect to be would be when Bitcoin reaches a specific level of bullish breakout, which is pretty much above this red area here. This red area is getting smaller by the day, and by next week all we'll need to be above really is 8,000. We call it 8,050, just to give it that extra nod. If we're above 8,050, or ideally, I would really want to see ourselves above 8,150, because that would make us above the 200 EMA. Then I think a lot of that profit will be pushed back into Bitcoin, causing it to, well, rocket probably. So I think, from what I am seeing here, we're going to get some big bold moves up and beyond these two candlesticks here, which is our most recent local high, the high that we really need to top, 9,500. If we can get above 9,500, then the bear market has certainly ended at that point, and we will then be hopefully closing above those areas, closing above those wicks here, getting our way up towards 10,000 and beyond. Bitcoin dominance, again, this isn't anything to be concerned about. It's actually pretty good, to be honest with you, to see Bitcoin dominance come down while Bitcoin goes up, because it means that a lot of the alts will be sharing the wealth. This is probably what's going to happen at the very beginning of this revisitation of a bull market, where every top coin that would be, all the major top cap coins will be benefiting from money falling back into the market. Bitcoin won't be an underdog at all. It'll be making some significant gains, and probably the Bitcoin dominance will start to rise above 70%, and maybe making more more bigger highs as the year progresses, just like it did last year. But to start with, when the bull market is confirmed to be carrying on, I think Bitcoin dominance will be playing within this range, dancing above the green 50 exponential. It's still massively bullish. It has been bullish all the way since last April. It's not really ever been bearish. It's been bullish the entire time, which basically means that alts have been completely smashed and killed and annihilated. They're having a bit of a fight back at the moment, which is fine, which is what this chart represents. But still, I think as the year goes on, money will fall out of alts, go back into Bitcoin again, and Bitcoin will carry on its way to make higher highs, all the way back up to likely areas into and above 80%. But like I say, it's just a very brief video on this, because I do think Bitcoin's bottom is in. Even if we do come down to revisit these areas, which I think is quite unlikely, we could fall back down beneath this level here, and if we do, then we could come back down to as low as 7,000, which is the bottom of this itchy cloud. I think we're going to get bought up relatively quick if we come down anywhere near that level. If we carry on as we are and we start to make higher highs over the next month, we'll certainly have a golden cross on the 200 exponential with the green 50, and it's back to bull mode basically, and we will see probably moves very similar to this over a short period of time, and then we will see, I would imagine, we will see an all-time high over $20,000 Bitcoin. I'm thinking probably towards $30,000 Bitcoin within a 12-month period, and then depending on how it's done, we will probably find our way back down, consolidating after such big moves. The reason I've got for this is that this time round is going to be completely different to how it was when we saw this. This time, when this happened, Bitcoin had not long been available for margin trading to the average consumer. It was around 2017, the back end, third quarter perhaps, when those sort of things started kicking in, and Bitcoin became very, very leveraged, which I believe partly caused this. Every time you get a parabolic move, you get a large retracement. Now this is a symptom of that. We had a parabolic move quite a bit early on, really, in what would be considered the new cycle, of that 4-year Bitcoin cycle. And you can see that it's not really that healthy, because Bitcoin does like to pump and dump. Obviously it does. That's why people like to trade it. It's extremely volatile. We love that about Bitcoin. But it's not really healthy for its sustained growth. What we'll find, I think, now is that we will see more of these and more of these. We will have mini cycles within cycles. So we're still going to have a 4-year cycle, I believe, but within that cycle we're going to have yearly cycles, or 12 or 13 month cycles, thereabouts, 11 to 13 month cycles of probably around 4 months pump, followed by around 6 to 8 month dumps. That's just how I think it's going to roll, because people are now able to short this, long this with extremely high leverage. I think we're just going to see this. I think this is going to be part of Bitcoin's natural moves these days. We're going to see bigger pumps and bigger dumps than we have done in the past, and then hopefully if the 4-year cycle really does kick in and the real retail money falls in by the end of 2021, we're going to see something like you probably can't even imagine. You know, we people talk about a $50,000 to $100,000. I think that might be relatively conservative when we think about how it's been moving and how it's freely available and the amount of leverage that's involved. I don't think there's enough Bitcoin to go around, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of paper Bitcoin that's never going to be able to be cashed in. It's a really difficult one for me to get my head around. All I know is that it's going to be making some enormous moves over the next 2 years, up and down. So we're talking extremely volatile. I mean, it's volatile by nature, but it's going to be incredibly volatile. Whether alts get a share of the pot, I don't know. They might do, they should do, I'm pretty sure they all will do. But I still think Bitcoin is going to be the major player. And there's going to be a lot more money to invest in other alts, and you will make a lot more money, I'm sure, if you were just hodling them. But when you can do a 125x on Bitcoin alone, where's the incentive to put your money into an altcoin? Unless, of course, you prefer to hold your coin and hodl it, obviously. Anyway, I've been ranting for long enough. Like I say, just wanted to bring this to your attention, that longs have been falling off, but shorts haven't increased. Bitcoin dominance is dancing around within an area, so it looks as though their bottom is in, and within a month we should be making a higher high of our most recent level, and there we go, bull market confirmed. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.